So this is the sports performance program. My name is Coach One. Coach Siebert's also here, and then we have a couple of students. We have Ricky and Hudson should be on a little bit later. The weight room itself, we'll show a video later so you can actually see the weight room. But the weight room itself, it's called the Gomo Family Fitness Center. Here is my contact information. So if you have any questions beyond this presentation, there'll be Q&A at the end. But if you have any questions, you can always email me or you can give me a call. That's my direct line. Just a little bit about my educational background. I went to San Francisco State. I majored in kinesiology. It was an emphasis on exercise science and fitness. If you don't know what kinesiology is, it's basically the study of human movement, exercise physiology. I also had a minor in athletic coaching, so just kind of different coaching styles. Then from there, stayed in the Bay Area, went to San Jose State University, again, majored in kinesiology with an emphasis on exercise phys. My career background, I'm actually in my 11th year here at St. Francis. Before that, I worked at Santa Clara University. For 4 years, I worked primarily with the baseball team. And when I was going to San Francisco State, I was an assistant coach there for my senior year. Then Coach Siebert.
All right, so here's my contact info. Same thing as Coach One. You can always email me, ask me questions, or call the line here in the office. My background, so I'm from Michigan. This is my second year here at St. Francis, second year in the Bay Area. I played basketball at Albion College, a small D3 school, and then I got my master's at Oakland University, where I worked with the athletes. They're a Division I school, mainly known for their basketball team. And like I said, this is my second year at St. Francis. Prior to that, I was at a similar type of high school in Michigan. I was head strength conditioning coach. And then previous to that, I was at Oakland University. After I got my master's, worked there for a year as the assistant.
All right, so the program here at St. Francis, the goal is sports performance training. So we're trying to make athletes better athletes. And to do that, we do a whole bunch of different things on the field, in the weight room to improve strength, speed, and then therefore power. The kind of overarching theme for everything that we do is injury prevention, because probably my favorite quote is an athlete's best ability is availability. So as long as you're healthy, you can actually show off that speed, strength, and power. Now, to improve all those different aspects, we use a large variety of lifts. They're all multi-joint movements, compound movements, and we're working the entire body. And again, just trying to make athletes better athletes. Ultimately, we're trying to build a good, solid foundation for the future. So one of my favorite things is when I have an athlete that goes and plays at the next level, and then they come back and they tell me, "Oh, I was so prepared. My freshman year, I didn't have to lift with the freshman group. I got to lift with all the upperclassmen because I had experience in the weight room." And then also, if I'm ever going to a conference with strength coaches, I'll be wearing my St. Francis strength and conditioning gear very proudly. And every once in a while, I'll have a college coach come by and go, "Oh, hey, I have one of your athletes, and he came to me and he was, great. He was able to just jump right into the mix." So we're trying to build that foundation, trying to have that foundation of knowledge so athletes are able to succeed at the next level. Coach Siebert's going to talk a little bit about what we're doing in this current environment because of our limitations with COVID and everything.
So starting in the spring and summer, we started doing Zoom workouts. It was mainly body weight, but we also offered a equipment workout for any athletes that had equipment at home, and that was anything from dumbbells to whatever. And then at the same time, we were doing outdoor workouts when we were allowed to on the field. That's with their coaches mainly, and they are working on their conditioning. We also ran some outdoor workouts with just one implement, so kettlebells, on the field over the summer. And then currently, the weight room recently opened. We're in our second week of being open. We can do small groups. We're limiting the time so we can get all the teams in because, with the number actually smaller, some teams might have more than one time slot. And because they're doing conditioning on the field, we are emphasizing kind of like what we already touched on, speed, strength, and power. So we're not making it conditioning in the weight room, working on our movements, working on developing the speed, strength, and power in those movements. and then complementing that with the conditioning on the field.
So you'll see in a second with the video, but we have a state-of-the-art weight room. There's a bunch of power lift racks, a bunch of attachments. It's not really like your commercial gym where there's a million different pieces of machines that you're doing the workout on. It's the racks are actually very versatile. In addition to the racks, we have kettlebells, a whole bunch of those, a bunch of med balls, some training ropes, agility ladders, hurdles. This just kind of names some of the equipment that we have, but it's very basic, but it's actually state of the art, and we're able to accomplish everything that we need to get accomplished. And then here's a video, just kind of, it's from a couple years ago, but it's shows a workout and it kind of shows off the facility a little bit too. So it's about 2 minutes. So, like I mentioned before, it's all different movements, multi-joint movements to help improve sports performance. So we're making athletes better athletes by improving their strength, their power, and their speed. So that was just kind of a taste of what the workouts look like and what the facility looks like. So to kind of give you a little bit of a student perspective, we'll start off. We have 2 athletes on the call right now. So we have Ricky. We can start with Ricky. Kind of just let us know what the weight room's like from an athlete's perspective.
Yeah, so if you're wondering about the opportunities to be in the weight room, there are a lot. So for instance, sports can go into the weight room, clubs like Lancer Fit, which is what I did freshman year and sophomore year, and classes like strength and conditioning, which help with more form rather than just bulk and lifting a lot. So, and also next year, or it started like 2 years ago, but freshmen can start lifting on Fridays, which I think is important because, like, it's just important to know how to lift everything. So there's kind of like two things me and Hudson could talk about. We could talk about before quarantine and during quarantine. So before quarantine, I lifted for strength and conditioning, where coaches, like, it's all form. A coach will help you with form anytime. He would just be right there. You could be like, Coach, how's my form? He'll tell you if it's good or not. And if you do really good, then he could bump you up weight. And I also did football during collab, which is just like lifting before, so we could get stronger for the season. And something I noticed is that there's always somebody in the weight room. I attribute that to just the nice facilities. And Hudson, do you want to talk about before quarantine?
Yeah, before quarantine, we were at the phase we were doing morning football workouts. So we were 2 days a week. We would come in, and yeah, like Ricky said, it's a really nice facility. Like there would be teachers in there early lifting. It's the coaches do a really good job of doing, like they said, strength, power, conditioning, all of that. It's really good full body workouts. You get a lot stronger. You just become better athletes in general.
So now during quarantine, while like less people can use a weight room, coaches are still there to help you with your form and getting stronger. So there's Zooms that you could do whether or not you have weights. And I had weights, so coach would help me do exercises with dumbbells, which is what I had. And they're really flexible. They could, if you have anything, they'll pretty much find exercise for you. And just recently, we started lifting in the weight room. Uh, it's different. It's masks on, 6 feet. There's less time, but you still get stronger, and they help you target a lot of your muscles rather than just curling a bunch or just focusing on your arm and upper body. It's all your muscles and explosiveness. So that kind of helped me on the field, especially for pole vault. I was able to like get more balance because we don't just focus on lifting; we focus on like balancing and like everything to prevent you from getting injured. So after I started doing more hang power clean, which I've never done before, it just kind of helped my explosiveness and jump up higher and push myself over the bar. And yeah, Hudson.
So like during quarantine, I was like Ricky. I was fortunate enough to have certain equipment. I had a little bit more. I had a barbell and weights. So for me, the workouts were they were closer to normal, so they were still pretty tough. And then now that we're back to football, it's a lot of circuit stuff. So it's kind of like pick up the bar, you don't put it down, and you're doing various movements to work, like Ricky said, all parts of your body. It's not just focused on one space. And right now, since we're just starting again, a lot of people haven't been able to do weights. We're focusing a lot on form, lighter weight, just get the movements down and just get our bodies back into it.
Cool. So yeah, it's just like I said earlier, the emphasis in the weight room is just to make athletes better athletes, teach them the basics so they have a good solid foundation to excel while they're at St. Francis and then beyond. I think we only have a couple visitors, so now we have questions and answers. So anything we didn't cover, any questions about the weight room, the program, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions.
You might have covered it, but I think when when can you come into the weight room? When are the like ideal schedules for freshmen?
So with the freshmen, we're now in our third year of doing it, but every freshman they're taking a PE class for the entire year, and they get a 4-week block first semester and a 4-week block second semester as just kind of an introduction into the weight room. So then when most JV squads and most varsity squads, no matter what the sport, will make their way up to the weight room. And so after your freshman year, you'll be probably coming into the weight room with a team, whether it's JV or varsity, and then just basically building on that foundation that you learned your freshman year. During the school day, there are also classes. So there's an advanced strength class where you're meeting 2-3 times a week and just building upon your weight room knowledge. And yeah, so that's lots of opportunities to make it in the weight room. I think it was Ricky that said that there's always someone in there. And basically before school, we have a team or two that comes in during the school day. We have the advanced strength classes, the freshman classes, and then after school, that's when all the sports teams come in. So the weight room's very heavily utilized.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. So my daughter is a lacrosse player, and I was wondering, do the teams go in? Is that sort of in preseason? Is that like sort of year round that they're doing some kind of weightlifting, or is that just in season, or how does that work?
So it depends on the team, the program, kind of the head coach of the team. But lacrosse, they'll come in. It's a second semester. It's a spring sport, so they basically start coming in the new year. In a normal situation, they'll come in the new year, a couple months before the season, and then they're coming in during the season once or twice a week, depending on the game schedule. So lacrosse definitely makes their way up to the weight room.
And so, do student athletes have an opportunity to come in when they're not? Like with their team, like for example, in the fall season or something like that? Are there sort of open hours where students are able to come in and take advantage of the weight room?
So the teams take priority, but there are open slots where athletes can take advantage of it, come in there. But to basically get in there consistently, I'd highly recommend taking a class. So an advanced strength class after their freshman year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? They can be directed at me, at Coach Siebert, any of the student athletes. All right.
So, okay, I guess I have another question. So if you were to come in, let's say you're coming in and it was not during a class, is the weight room, I'm sorry, I came in late, so this might have been covered. But is the weight room staffed with someone who's there to assist with you regardless, or yeah?
Yeah, so it's 100% staffed. All the workouts are coach led. During the open times, the coaches are around to help out with form, make sure everyone's being safe. And they can definitely provide programs too. So it's basically, it's split up between myself and Coach Siebert. Like I said, it's before school, during school, and after school. So it's kind of, we've split it up where I kind of take the before school stuff throughout the school day, and then Coach Siebert comes, kind of gets a class or two at the end of the day, and then has all the teams and after school kids. So 100% coach led.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So if there are other questions, you can stick around. We'll be in the room for a little while longer. Otherwise, you're free to go to the next spot.